right now I'm leaning towards your character, Hannah, when it comes to um, like being the servant. But I probably need to know more about.
Yeah.
Uh, my
Does
second choice is the vicar, and but I need to know more about your character, Elma, before I make my final decision. I
Well,
didn't
me
really
too.
understand. You're some kind of. You, I didn't understand what you.
she's a
You are
mysterious old woman,
explorer.
who writes.
Yeah, who
Yeah,
is
yeah,
not
yeah.
actually old.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, but but Helma and Henna is also almost the same.
Oh
But Helma's
no!
character,
Yeah.
I didn't understand.
I have a second first name, but then everybody else is going to be kind of.
Uh, but But you, Helma, you were a kind of an explorer and some a wood person. I don't see that more or less because I'm much of a city person, um, and
The more I think
so
about it, the more I
that,
really
that
want a thuggish assistant. That sounds wonderful.
a thuggish,
Assistant or servant. That sounds like
yeah.
a great idea.
Sounds like the priest
But
could use some protection.
I know. I mean,
I think a priest is really good choice also because you are very. I mean, it would be logic to go to you because. Um, I'm trying to get away from,
right.
and then where do you go?
Helma wanted
I
to
mean,
say
the
something.
church is.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
continue till you are finished talking. I just want to say something
Yeah, but
after.
I'm never finished, so you might as well. So,
No, I realized I was wondering. We still have to build some kind of connection between.
Oh, we have to make
the
relationships.
characters.
That's right.
I guess we should maybe do that tonight
That's a good idea.
because
Sounds
it will
very good.
take
And it's going to
time.
take a while. That's each of us has to make
Yeah.
4 relationships. So,
Yeah.
oh,
And I
let's
have
go
also a
to.
small question. Like,
Alright.
how is our society? Like, are we fighting against or for, or should we even be on the same page? Are we undecisive about it?
I think it's a little more loosely based, so to speak. It's more or less a society that connects people that actually have the gift and that have identified people that as having the gift. For example, you could all be born on a Thursday and thereby somehow have obtained the gift or through your travels or misdeeds.
well,
And
I think
the
our
society-
backgrounds tell us when we actually got the gift, or at least it's recommended that
Yes.
the trauma does
So-
it if you don't have
Yes.
some other reason.
Yeah, no. It's so the society, I think, connects all these people, and I think it mainly tries to, what do you call it, keep tabs on them, and also I think gives a small stipend if they would be willing to, what do you call it, take care of some businesses on the side, so to speak. So as I interpret it, I think it's a little more loosely based rather than, a strict, for example, an academic society or something. So overall, I also want to check with you folks. What would you like with this? Because I have, of course, read the books and everything. But how do you folks feel like this should work together as well? These are all open questions.
I see.
Yeah, you mean the society?
Yes.
I think I'm slightly
society,
confused
because
about
it's
the difference between
sort
the
of
big
our
society.
situation.
There's the big society, and then it's whatever the 5 of us are doing with it for ourselves, right? Our little sort of chapter
Yes.
of the
Yes.
society. We get to choose what that's like and what it's for.
Indeed.
Yeah, and that was the thing. Like, are we on the same page
Right.
within our own
without
chapter
knowing
or
the
not?
subjects to the dark secrets, right? Obviously, the unknown dark secrets are going to maybe affect this, but at least from my character's point of view, he's actually seen the Grimm defend the church silver. And so he's more inclined to think of the Vaesen as almost part of God. I mean, his whole, you know what his motivation is? To understand God's creation, and the Vaesen are part of it. So he's much more about finding out ways to get along with them rather than battling them. So that's I think at least where I'm coming from. I don't
So
know
you
about
have an
the-
ally.
Right. Oh, excellent. So two of us are kind of in that mode of thought. Maybe some of the other characters may differ from us, or maybe some of them are kind of in the air about how they feel about it.
Yeah, I honestly don't mind like if we
Yeah.
are on the same page or not, because
Exactly.
it might be interesting if we are not. But then on the
Exactly.
other hand, it might be difficult to tag along and be
Right. We
around.
have to get along. We have to get along enough to do things together. Right. So I don't know if anyone else has any comment about that, or
We are a team, right? Given that the profession of my character is explorer, I guess that she's mostly curious in a way,
Mhm.
positive. Like she's not out to kill Vaesen or to what do you call it? She doesn't want to get rid of them in any way. She's
Right.
more interested in learning about them.
Mhm.
I think there would be perhaps a suggestion that everyone is part of the, what do you call it, local chapter of
Right.
the society situated in Norrköping, perhaps,
Right.
as a suggestion.
Mhm.
At least
I think
as a start.
if I decided on my attitude towards Vaesen is that I'm like curious and maybe a bit skeptic, but curious about almost all Vaesen except the one coming from the sea.
Ah, okay.
So I've like I'm really afraid of. I don't like them, and I've seen too much of the bad stuff coming from the sea. So that's basically my stance in this. And I think my role in this is that I'm coming with, but I have the site, but I'm coming with if I choose the vicar as my loyal being the servant to the vicar, I'm following him, but I'm also, I mean, it doesn't matter to me if it like seems like he has his like loyal companion with him, but I actually have the gift also, but it's
Mhm.
not. I'm not going on bragging about it, and
Right.
it's
Right.
not like that.
So in each of the archetypes, it lists attitudes that you might have toward the other characters for the relationships. And it also says you can make up your own. So I'm writing down my character's attitude toward each of your characters' attitudes right now. And so I guess I'll either turn them over to Peter or we can share them. But that's each of us has to come up with 4 of these. So that's 20 relationships we need on paper total across us. So that's a lot.
I have prepared what do you call it, 2 image files that I use that we use in our regular role playing group in Dungeons and Dragons and other stuffs. And these are really, what do you call it, I thought it would be, I think it's 30 or 34 dot list of how 2 characters know each other. And there are all kinds of suggestions here. Mayhaps
Right.
I could share them in the
That's
chat or
true.
something.
Although in the case of
Please.
this game, it does give suggestions that are very, they're not just how we met, but they're very much like how you relate to them. What, for example, one of mine is that I could choose that my character thinks they're better than one of you. But so they're often full of value judgments.
Yeah, but the
Yeah.
ones I have in front of me when I look at Hunter don't make sense at all.
Well, that says you can make up your own, though.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
there's no
you don't
there's no
have to be
pressure.
stuck by that.
I guess
So
for
maybe-
me they make sense, but
Right.
it's a bit difficult because I have one here that is like, you frighten me. It's like, I don't know like which one of you.
Well, you can either not use that one, or you could assign it at random and work it out from there.
I guess these relationships will change during play.
I imagine they
You
could.
can,
I imagine they could.
yeah, I hope so. And can we start out really like
A little vague.
diffuse?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little vague, and I'm just
I think that-
and then be more precise as we go along.
Yeah, it seems that creating a specific relationship and a specific emotional or status-based judgment toward every other player character for every single player character, it's almost a little bit too solid, you know? I mean, it's really very formal. It's almost like if we were to sit down at a convention and play one session, this would teach us how to act. It's like an acting assignment, you know? But so maybe we should just recognize that we're supposed to come up with these things. Or Peter, do you want us to think about it and send you some ideas? Or
It's up to you, really. It's an open suggestion. I myself shared the PC bonds list, which we use in our other gaming
right, that's what you
groups
said, yeah.
in the chat. So it's really up to you. There's no pressure on anything. We're just figuring out this stuff as we go, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
What would be the best? What would be the best for the situation and the group at hand?
Right.
And
Well, I know
that's
for two
that's
of
the one
you,
we're going with.
for two of you, I have a pretty good idea.
I would like to know more about your character, Nathan. How did you end up here? If you're like a vagabond, that means that you like move around and go from like beggar almost, right?
More like
And if
lost
you're
child,
17, yeah,
like lost child that has been moving around for several years, knowing that the character is young. So several years he has been doing that, like most of his, not childhood, but teens time. Trying to survive. He had to leave his home for a reason related to the dark secrets, so I'm going to skip that. I think the way he sees the priest is like, all of you guys are a way to protect him, because he's scared of everything. He can see Vaesen, but he doesn't understand it. And yeah, he's scared. Every time he moves around, he sees weird creatures that he doesn't understand. So all the people that are nice and kind of like him, they probably can help him. And maybe he can see, you know, how everybody is behaving and dealing with his own issue, so to make him grow up. Know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's
I was particularly interested because you and I come from a similar background, a similar class, and for me, I see like the most. I mean, this like, you know, the concept of tough love, like being really, really, I really care about you, but I beat you.
Right.
Because I think that's the way. But that's a bit. I don't really like that. So and that was that. So.
Well, you don't. Maybe it's less. Maybe it's a better kind of tough love. You actually want to help the kid grow up and live.
Yeah,
right.
Not the like sadistic tough love,
Right.
But I'm trying to learn, teach you how to be like take the. So I think I'm thinking of like not only protecting you, but taking on my responsibility to teach you how to handle the tough part of life, kind of, because I've seen it.
It's a good idea to remember that. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, Yeah, and I guess that you have not asked for this. I just elected myself as
Right.
yours
Right.
teacher.
He probably doesn't want your help because you're like aggressive and violent, and he probably doesn't like that
Right.
because he has been surviving by hiding
Right.
mostly.
Right.
So that's probably
Yeah.
going to make like some interesting discussions.
Yes.
Yeah, I like to correct that. I'm not very brutal. I'm more or less slick. And I kind of maybe break someone's fingers, but I don't like smash their face.
Oh,
Yeah.
that sounds
Mo-
wonderful,
mo-
Ola. You are such a nice.
That sounds
You are
like
such a nice thug.
yeah, yeah, not nice like slick thug. So, yeah.
Peter, did you want to
Okay.
say something?
I
You
can
look
see
like
this group. I can see this group coming together very well. Also, an interesting thing, by the way, in the 1880s, vagrancy was a crime.
Right.
So,
Right.
being able to wander from place to place, you really had to dodge the police sometimes, because you had to have a work, get work. Otherwise, they would send you to the poorhouse.
Right.
Yeah,
May
basically
I
pretending
something?
and escaping.
Mm,
Pretending and escaping.
Yes,
mm.
a bit like Oliver Twist or something.
Mhm.
That's